Well, it doesn't look as bad on camera. Looks pretty pink as it does in real life. The point I'm trying to make is I had to get my hands dirty to get this thing out of there. Few words about a 61 Beetle or any of the earlier Beetles and a dual carb engines. One, you have to remove the valve cover on the one side. You have to remove both the carburetors in order to get the thing out. So this one took me almost 45 minutes to remove, which is a lot longer than if that had been a stock 61 Beetle 40 horse in there. They just about fall out on their own. And so a little bit more of an ordeal getting this out. But it's out, and we're able to, but I got to put everything back. I got to, reassemble some of the engine, the carburetors, the linkage, and air cleaners, and all that. But what we're left with is an engine bay that's going to need some cleaning up. The one panel just was loose, came out. This one's, well, that one's going to just fall out also. And we'll remove the rear one. We'll replace the throwout bearing. One of the things I noticed is that, see if it shows up in camera without extra light here, but you can see that one boot is cracked, so that's going to have to be replaced, but that's on the owner. We're not a repair shop. I haven't looked at that one, but I'll get underneath there with the light and check things. I still got to pull the starter motor off, but and then we'll do some cleaning back here. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Probably clean that deck lid so I don't get my shirt dirty. When I'm leaning over something, I don't want to rub up against this and get dirty. So anyway, that's where it stands. We've got the fuel tank out, and the fuel tank's out. My battery's just about ready to go. So, it's got a, clean paint job on the outside, but underneath it's not so clean. I noticed the brake fluid level is really low on this thing. But I haven't seen any leaks. I think it just needs to be topped off. So anyway, as soon as we get those battery boxes from the fab shop, then those start go in. We can do the cabling. We're having these two were being done at the same time, so because they came in close together, so we ordered the boxes at the same time. So that's what's going on with the 61 Beetle. We're preparing it for conversion. We're waiting on a few parts, but yeah, there's work that we can do. We've done just about all we can do on the thing sitting next to it here, and on that series of videos you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's only so much you can do, and it finally comes down to parts. And so stay with me, see where we go from here. The charger for the camera, that's where. Well, as I've mentioned, many times before, we're still waiting on components. And on the VW thing here, we're waiting on the custom flywheel and the charger. So we got the DC to DC converter installed. We've got the high voltage, the traction pack cabling installed. It's just hanging right now. It will be routed and secured, held in place. The same way with the rest of the wiring. It's just been put into place, and it'll be loomed and secured at a later time. But what I'm going to do now, as we're trying to do as much on this while we're waiting for parts as possible, is one, we'll install the new throwout bearing. We always replace the throwout bearings. You'll never ever replace it again, so this is the time to do it while you've got the engine and motor out of the way. But what I'm going to do now is install the motor. So I just have the adapter connected to the motor, and we're going to put it in place, and then we can run the cables from the inverter to the motor, and we'll have the exact length and the exact routing that we want to do. We do each vehicle individually. It's not one size fits all on our in-house conversions. We'll also, with the motor in place, we'll cut the rear panels that we've always done. And if you go back in time and look back 2008, you'll see we were the first ones to do that. And so we continue to do that. And so again, we have a basic template, but there are slight differences in every vehicle, it seems like, depending on wiring or different things that may be in here. This one's pretty stock. But anyway, they are custom fit individually. And so putting the motor in place will allow us to get the exact measurements and fitment that we want. We'll also be able to do our cooling system, which is done underneath and attaches to the one rear panel, and so, or part of it does at least. And so with those in place, it just allows us to take a few more steps and to get that much closer to completion, so that once the flywheel is received and the charger are received, we can pretty much button this thing up. We're waiting to bottom balance the cells to after we know that we're getting the charger. We've had so many broken promises. We're not, we're not counting our chickens before they hatch. So we're going to wait until we have a definite date, and it's, here domestically, that kind of thing, and we pretty much hopefully can count on it at that point, and then we'll start bottom balancing the cells and then install the cells and connect our interconnects. We've got the rest of it ready to roll here. Let me show you the DC converter real quick. It's underneath the back seat right here, opposite of the 12-volt auxiliary battery. Our battery box back there, and the front one's in place. We have the cabling routed, the wires routed. Again, nothing's loomed or secured. It's just been run. So when we're done, those orange wires and everything will be inside of the same heater tube that it was originally, so you won't see them. But again, we're waiting till the very end to do some of this stuff. I don't like to button up stuff prematurely. It always seems that when you do, then there's something that comes along and you have to unbutton what you've done. And I don't like doing things twice. So we wait and do it one time, and that's it. But like I said, we're trying to check off as many big things as we can. So, you know, the cabling's all run. But like I said, we're still waiting on that charger and the flywheel. And so we're going to do what we can. Just stick the motor in real quick now. Just temporarily bolt it in place. Finish the items I mentioned. And then we'll remove the motor again. And matter of fact, this is not even the exact motor that goes in the vehicle. It just happens to be an AC50. And that's what's going in here. So I just grabbed it. It's the one that I have sitting on the workbench at this location. It's actually the one that used to be in our sandrail for the workshops. So I'm just using it, you know, as a placeholder for fitment purposes. And hopefully we get these things soon. I've contacted them this week to find out, and the flywheels are still probably a month out, and the charger I haven't heard back on. So that's kind of the joys of dealing with the Chinese. So anyway, that's the latest update on the VW thing, and I'll give you a shot of what those things look like when I'm done, maybe, or maybe I'll wait till the end. I don't know. I get sidetracked easily, and recording these things, you know, doing the video is not a real high priority. You know, we're a shop, not a recording YouTube presence. That you know, that, as you can tell, that has never been our focus. Our focus is to the customer, and then also in providing educational information. And so this isn't what I would really call too educational at this point, because we've, you know, shown these things so many times before. But it's always amazing to me, people say, oh, I saw your video about this or that, and they ask a question. It's like, well, watch some more videos. We answer that question multiple times. It's like, you know, I saw your video. Well, which one of the over 300 did you see? So anyway, we hope that you do glean little information from each one of our videos, or it stimulates a question that we can answer to help you have a clearer understanding of the big picture. And of course, the ultimate way to get that big picture understanding without all these little pieces coming at you from different directions at different sequences is to take our EV workshops. They give you everything in one continuous fashion that gives you all the information you need to do anything from a patio boat to an ultralight aircraft. So that's my recommendation. Check out our website. We have the 3-day workshops and the online workshop, but the online workshop is far superior because of not having time restrictions and so forth. So I highly recommend it, even over the 3-day workshop. This is as far as we're going to go on the VW thing until we receive the flywheel that we're waiting for and the charger. Like I mentioned earlier, this motor is just kind of a placeholder so that we could cut our wire lengths and do our surround boards here, and so we'll drop that motor out. We'll do, we've got everything ready to mount for the cooling system. We'll just run the plumbing, the hoses later. Yeah. Got the wiring secured. We still have some looming to do. But like I said, wait till a certain point in the process to do certain things. And so this is just as far as I'm going to bother going. What's left to do won't take too long. Once we receive those components we're waiting for, we can, I haven't bottom balanced the cells yet because we just don't have a date on that charger. So once we know for sure when to expect the charger, then we'll start bottom balancing the cells, install them, connect the interconnects, that type of thing. And with the flywheel, then we can put the motor in,